Woman, noun. The female human being can be described as confident, strong, smart, creative, visionary, beautiful, leader. Women who lead. Well, hello there. Thanks so much for joining us today on this edition of Women Who Lead. I am Dr. Ruth Allen Ollison, and on this program we talk to women who are engaged in all manners of leadership in many aspects of life, and that would be political, business, social, military, banking, you name it, women are doing it, and I'm excited about that. My guest today is Kelly Smith, and Kelly, your concern, the concern that you have birthed, is called Jane in the Jungle. Mm-hmm. What is Jane in the Jungle?
Jane in the Jungle, you could say, is a women empowerment movement, and it's based on my leadership as a female and encouraging other women to take on leadership, starting at the level of personal leadership, where they define things that are important to them, like to help them move on their journey and make it an authentic journey. So it's, what are my natural talents, strengths, and abilities? What's the passion there, and how do you take what you are naturally drawn to, naturally interested in, and take all of your background, your skills, everything that you've done, honor it, bring it forward, and say, this is what I want my life to be about, and this is where I want to make a difference. And in doing that, usually what happens for women is that they see where they can make a difference out in the world. Mm-hmm. That's almost always where it ends up, a clearer vision of, okay, this is where I want to make my mark, and then it's the next level of leadership. So how do you do that?
And don't we, as women, not just women, but really people, are born into a situation, you come into a situation, and you naturally start doing things a certain way. And before you know it, you have this whole compilation of life that's not necessarily what you feel you were put here to do. And it feels jumbled up. And then you get involved?
Well, I think that's interesting that you say that, because that's what we would call a life of default, right?
Yeah.
Instead of a life by design. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It doesn't really matter, because what I see and what I've experienced in my so many years of leading is that everyone ends up there. Even the people who set out and they're up front, they're the leaders. They were leaders when they were in elementary school, and they've taken the taken the reins and gone for it in life. I found no matter who, what, or where, there comes a point in our lives where we go, you know what? I want to reinvent myself.
There's got to be more.
Yeah. This isn't quite really what I wanted. I thought it was at one time, mm-hmm. and now I'm clearer. And so I think it's always a kind of a journey, a next iteration, a metamorphosis.
How did you get to this place, though? It seems like you're doing that you're there doing what you want to do, which is helping people get to that next level. How did Kelly Smith get there?
I could answer that question several different ways, depending on what day you ask me that question.
All right. Well, this is today. All right, this is today.
For me, I was exposed to healing work. And when I say healing work, I mean I had a counselor when I was 16 years old, and then when I was in my 20s, I ended up kicking drugs and alcohol, and ended up doing a 12-step program, and then I go into all these other things that have been a journey, which led me through and to a point to where I was exposed to exercises, and the exercises said, write your own eulogy. I was like, what do you mean, write my own eulogy? Yeah, what would you want people to say at your funeral? What is your life about when it's all said and done? Not like if you died today, but later, when it's time. And make a list of all your passions. What are you interested in? What what do you want? And what would you do with your life if you never had to work another day in your life?
Good question.
It's a great question.
So basically it's fast forward and look back.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So when I did that, I answered, let's see, I would help women.
You would help women?
I would empower women.
Okay.
And I love that, and I found out from speaking in 12-step meetings that I love to speak.
Okay.
And then I also found out, because I was going and getting massage work done and healing work done, that I was drawn to that, and I probably would be an awesome healer. That I probably had the powers,
Right.
And so it's just, I just kept listening for, in my own experience, like, what do you love? What would you do for free?
Sure.
When you're
what would you
life's
do?
over.
And do it for a living, even if you didn't get paid, and you would enjoy it.
Yeah. Would you? I mean, like when I teach this to women in groups. I always say, okay, look, just go ahead and get it out of your system. What are you going to do first? You're going to hang out, okay? Let's be real about this. You're not just going to go jump right into your, altruistic kind of like, what do you want to do to save the world kind of thing, So
What do you mean by hang out?
You're going to travel. You're going to catch up with friends. You're going to go shopping. You can take a little vacation time, right?
Okay.
And get some stuff done that you want to do that's just for fun.
If you could do anything, then that's what you're saying.
You're going to start
the first
there.
thing.
Let's just be
Yeah.
very authentic. Don't
Yeah.
go straight into I'm going to save the world.
Because you're not going to save the world.
Anyway,
First.
well,
You're not going to save the
not
world
to
first.
mention,
Yeah.
but whatever it is that you think's your passion. So everyone says something like, I would like to help women who've been in abusive relationships. I would like to help, I'd like to go over and be a missionary in Africa, or this, that, or the other. Well, great, but what are you really going to do first? Get all that out of your system,
you're just gonna
and
relax
then
and
come from a more authentic place of, now I can do anything I want with my life. Are you going to retire and do nothing? Probably not. You're going to keep just traveling? Maybe, but when you do something that really called to you.
And this is all that you're helping people envision this.
I am a big believer, and that you have a purpose. And I don't think that I'll ever be able to prove that people come to life with a purpose. I do know, though, that it is empowering for me and many people that I know to take that on. I have a purpose. And also, I get to decide what my purpose is, too. There's some of that, too. It's not just like I'm searching for blankly, what's my purpose in life?
Yes.
Don't look out there. Come in here, and one of the ways to find what might be your purpose and to choose a purpose powerfully is to go with what calls to you. What do you love? What do you like? Mm-hmm. What's important to you?
And so that's
where
kind
are
of
you interested?
That's your first question.
Yeah,
that you really
like if
ask
you're
yourself.
going to read a book, what book is going to draw you all the way in? And maybe, you might say, well, only romance and trashy books. Well, then maybe you should be writing them.
Yeah, instead of just consuming.
For me, the books that I've always been drawn to are in the healing arts, and stuff that we're talking about right here, right now. Mm-hmm. Those are the books that made a huge difference in my life. And, you give me a book like that, and it will hold my attention.
Okay.
You give me a book on something else, and I'm like, oh, I can't read that.
So we're
No,
going to talk
thank
some
you.
more. We're going to take a little break right here.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more of Women Who Lead and Kelly Smith in a moment.
It was not. It was like.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Houston is thriving with more diverse, innovative industries than any other city. So too is Houston Community College. If Houston has a nurse shortage, HCC fills that need. An advancement in energy, HCC adopts it. New codes, HCC prepares for them. New technologies, new advances. We are inextricably linked to the pulse of Houston and to the success of our students. We keep Houston working. HCC, smart decision.
Back now with more of Women Who Lead. My guest is Kelly Smith, JaneInTheJungle.com. Jane in the Jungle. We talked about how you came up with that, and your goal is to empower women. You do a lot of speaking and leading with women. Talk to us about the principles of Jane in the Jungle.
There are 4 philosophies,
Okay.
and play big is the number one. It's the cornerstone philosophy.
What do you mean by that?
Play big. Think big, play big. You know, women need permission sometimes to play big. Even men do. Some men. As on the whole, the women are, the messages that we've received are, well, wait a minute, contain yourself there, little lady. Hold on there now, And there's multiple messages still.
Simmer down.
Yeah, whoa, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to boast. You're not supposed to brag. You're not, and you're supposed to take care of people, which is fine, except for that it's always kind of like at the expense of, what you really want to do. Or women in general just don't think big enough. So it's a given.
I would say that, and I usually use this in like pray big, all right?
I love that.
Because you're gonna be playing or you're gonna be praying anyway. It costs the same amount of time to do it small as it does to do it big,
Thank you.
right?
I love that.
And who knows what your results are gonna be, all right? So good. What's the second one?
And I want to say also, play big ties into abundance and prosperity.
Okay.
So on the spiritual note, it's like we live in an abundant universe. There's no lack.
Right.
I mean, there really isn't. Humans think there are. There is. But it's
Everything that we need is already here.
And in a huge
and been
way.
here for a long time.
Yes,
yeah.
thank you.
All right.
Know thyself. So you're, on a journey, or maybe you're not. You don't have to be, but I help people empower themselves by embracing, knowing who they are, which we've already talked about. What is your life about?
Know yourself. How do you go about knowing yourself? Because some people think knowing yourself means knowing how you would respond in a certain situation. Well, many times you're not in that situation, so you don't really have to know that. You just have to know who you are, right?
Oh, wow. Can we do another show? I'll come back. Well, maybe if we go to the 4th philosophy, the 3rd philosophy, it might answer that question.
Let's do that.
Okay. And the 4th one also will help answer that because it goes deeper. So the 3rd philosophy is silence the inner critic. And so in knowing yourself, you also want to know that you always, it's humanity, it's human to have a voice that is critical, that lives inside of you. And really doesn't want you to think big or play big, and tells you things that you are that you're not.
For instance?
Well, let's see. So I had, I had problems in school. I was what now they call ADD.
Okay.
And what happened was I got a viewpoint of myself that I was stupid from sitting in classes year after year going, glazing over and not understanding what teachers were saying and getting called on and not even knowing what to say. And so I took on that I was stupid. Well, that now as an adult becomes my inner critic. Mm-hmm. So just,
See, I told you.
Don't say that. It would be stupid, or, hold back, or what you said. It's not uncommon for me to, today I could leave from this interview and just completely critique every word I said to you. I can't believe you said that. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The inner critic, don't believe it.
And a lot of people do that.
But you got to know what it says to you. And a lot of people try to push the inner critic down and, just not listen to it that way. With the inner critic, the way to really deal with it is to see what does it say to you, and then get very clear and distinguish it as not true. Mm-hmm. It's not who you are.
Well,
knowing yourself, that's not who you want to know. That's not.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Sometimes, though, my inner critic is correct. Mm. My inner critic will say, well, you shouldn't have said that, or you shouldn't have done that. And I can say, okay, thanks.
I love that.
Because you can really learn.
That's
that.
great.
It's not that
I'm going to use that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Like, okay. So now we're done. The argument is over because you
Okay.
can agree.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah, there is this verse that says,
Again, that's not
agree with
resisting it.
Agree with your accuser. Just kind of agree. So after you agree, you're done, right?
I love that.
All right. So what's number 4?
And the fourth one is thrive on support. And so, again, your question about knowing thyself. There are so many resources. You know, I remember when my mom, when I was growing up, my mom used to say, "Oh, your generation of women are going to have it so good. It's going to be so exciting. I'm so excited for you. You're going to have money opportunities. You're going to have career opportunities that I never will have." And this, that, and the other. And then she, you know, had Gloria Steinem over there. You know, she was reading it. Like, but let's say if my dad was going to walk to the kitchen, Gloria Steinem, you put her away. And so the resources for her were limited. Now, what women need to know is like building a support system for yourself is how you're going to thrive. And taking experiential classes is what I always recommend because that's what I've done and that's where I found the biggest support.
And
But
what do you
you've
mean
got
by
resource.
experiential classes? What are those?
Experiential classes go beyond head knowledge. You know, you could tell me, for instance, about my inner critic. You could tell me, oh, you know, just tell your inner critic, no, thank you. Or you could tell your inner critic, I agree with you. Or you could, people could take a concept of inner critic and not have any ability to use it until they actually go into an experiential class where you have other people to work with and you can actually get a grasp on it, so to speak.
And you have
It's hard
permission to
explain
think
because it
about
is
these things.
experiential rather than head knowledge. So even explaining it to you
Sure.
is almost difficult. But it is done, experiential is done with groups of people. It is done where other people can help you see something you don't see about yourself and give you the support that you need to just support.
And it's just, it really is life-giving to be with people who are supportive of you, who are supportive of you becoming and developing, growing, starting things, just not being around people who are going to criticize you all the time or wonder, well, why are you going to do that?
Or want to play small, so they want you to play small.
Yeah.
And they don't know it, it's not intentional, but that's where they are.
Well, sometimes what happens is if we're at the same table or I'll use it like this, we're on the same level, and all of a sudden you say, well, I think I'm going to go and start a business. Well, if you start a business, then that means I don't really have an excuse not to start a business. We're at the same table. But if I can stop you, if I can say, well, no, why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Just stay here with me.
Oh, yeah.
Just stay here with me. That's kind of the smallness, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of that small thinking. And so you really have to, if you're going to have an idea and you're going to generate that idea or grow beyond where you are, then you have to get with people who are up to something, right?
I love the way you say it.
There are a lot of people, by the way, who really want other people to be successful. And we got to find out who those people are. We're going to talk about another project that you have on empowering girls. But right now, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with more of Women Who Lead and Kelly Smith in a moment.
Bring out the action hero in you. Fuel up right and get energized. Be part of the greatest action movie ever. The first movie that puts you in the action. Show us how you train and eat like an action hero. Join in at actionheroalliance.com.
We keep Houston working with more returns, more personal income, more community investment, more work programs. In fact, no institution does more for its students and its community than Houston Community College. HCC. Smart decision.
We are back now with Women Who Lead, more with Kelly Smith of janeinthejungle.com. I have to say that one of my favorite television programs growing up was Tarzan and flying through the jungle, and I grew up in the country, so my brother and I would often try to find a limb and see if we could swing through the trees.
Got hurt, didn't you?
Or fell. Those limbs really don't hold that well when you have weight on them like that, but I was very interested in this name, the concept that you've come up with called Jane in the Jungle. And then when you go on your website, you ask, do you feel basically, overwhelmed, or do you feel that you're not quite on point? And then you come in and you help women with that. So one of the things is that we have a hard time answering, women do, is what do you do? What do you do? So you've even developed a concept to help people figure that out.
Yeah. So I could go two directions right now. I could tell you the metaphor.
Okay. What's the metaphor?
Who is Jane?
Yeah, who is Jane?
So we gave you the four philosophies. Jane in the Jungle is the empowered woman and girl, and she is at any point in time on the vines in the jungle, and she is swinging freely. She's networking everyone that she swings into contact with. She makes connections with people and networks and empowers other people. She's up to empowering people that she swings into contact with. And she's self-expressed, so whenever she feels so moved as she's swinging through the jungle, she lets out the Jane call, which is something like this.
Wow.
So that's Jane.
That's Jane.
And when I do that in groups, when I'm speaking in groups, doing keynote speeches and trainings and such, I always have the women key in with me and do a Jane
The
with
women
me.
do the Jane call all together?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't stop there.
Okay. All right.
Now,
I'm not doing the Jane call on the program today.
I know.
Okay.
I feel it.
All right.
I just feel it.
Okay. Now I could do it, but I'm not going to do it.
I know that too, and I
All
will
right.
have you do it later probably.
Okay.
So there's another thing that women, one of the things that we're told to do is to have an elevator speech, and I think that's really difficult for women to do. And so I work on mine, and sometimes I just give up, and it's been a process for me. So I have my latest one, and I was going to share it with you. The latest elevator speech, which is
Now, is this for you? You're going to do your elevator speech?
yeah.
So I ask you,
to show.
Kelly, what do you do?
Yes, what do? I work with people outside of their regular everyday routine to help them return to their natural and authentic sense of connection, wholeness, and power. And I do this through healing techniques such as massage, Reiki healing, life coaching, and I also do keynote speaking, which are inspiring speeches that are designed to open people's hearts and minds.
I'm not getting off the elevator. I think I'm going to want to know more
Oh, yay.
about you.
That was a good one.
So talk about the healing aspect of your adventure. What do you do to help people heal?
You know what? I'm going to change it from journey to adventure.
Okay.
I like that, the way that sounded. What I do is I take all of my background and I bring it together to, customize to people where they are in their life and what they need. And I see people outside of their environment, whether it's in a massage, at my studio, in a massage session, or whether it's another business person or a young woman who wants to find out what it is that she's trying to do with her life, and I'm life coaching. Whatever it is, I bring a lot of skill sets from the energy work that I've been involved in. I'm a licensed massage therapist. So what I bring to each person is very individual. So it could be anything from just someone who comes in, they're very athletic and they want a massage. They meet me at the studio and we do it. We get the deal done. To someone who's on a very defined healing path, they want to shift some emotional things out. They need to open up their hearts. They want to get energy work done. It's kind of my own signature. Again, it's The part of my speaking is Jane in the Jungle. My business for my healing business is called Retreat in the Jungle.
Okay.
It's all about come on into the jungle. And let's
We
see-
are in the jungle, so
let's see
better
what we
figure out
want
how
to
to
get done with
survive.
you. You know,
Yeah.
where you need to reconnect with yourself and how we're going to go about doing that.
Talk to me a little bit about the concept now that you're doing for girls, parties.
Yes,
empowerment
parties, which also translate into women's retreats as well. And the girl empowerment parties, we're working with girls on their birthdays to give them a really great birthday party that's not a princess party, for instance. Like I had one mom, she said, oh, please, just anything but another princess party. And I'm like, right on. Thank you very much. Let's do an empowerment party.
And give me an example of what that would look like.
Well, it's customized. There's different modules, but the three basic base modules are the girls get a chair massage. We create a whole jungle environment with the music for them to get their chair massage. And we work on their necks and their shoulders and give them a little scalp massage. To yoga, we do a small, short yoga class for them. They love that. It exposes them to great self-care, both of those things. And then we do dream boards, vision boards, where we have them come in with we also invite moms to bring magazines too, but we have a bunch of magazines. They sit down and they cut out, we have stickers and all kinds of things that are like empowerment stickers. And so they can cut out pictures and things of vision, dream boards, put them up on their door. It's like, this is what I want to be when I grow up.
That's great.
So
That's great.
it's a lot of fun.
All right, it sounds like it. And
a lot of fun.
I want to thank you so much, Kelly Smith, Jane in the
Thank
Jungle,
you so much,
for being with
Dr.
us
Ruth.
today. All right. Thank you for being with us as well here on Women Who Lead. And also want to invite you now, if you're in business or you know someone who is, to go on the HCC website and check out the information on the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Businesses program. This is an opportunity for education about your business, how to grow your business, how to market your business. Of course, you can make more money, you can employ more people, and it's just a marvelous opportunity for you. Goldman Sachs 10,000 program at the HCC website. Free information there, an application for you, and perhaps you'll want to get in the next class. I want to thank you very much for joining us today on this edition of Women Who Lead. I'm Dr. Ruth Allen Ollison, and I'll see you next time.